Oh, it's happening again. I've got time on my hands and I'm on eBay. And I've decided that life is simply not worth living without a dubious looking Yamaha Townmate in it. So I'm going to have a little bid on this and we shall see what happens. Oh dear, look what happened. This is what does happen when you've got time on your hands. Okay, let's have a trip to Warrington then. Well, there we are, and what a handsome little beastie she is. I've put some air in the tyres so I can move it, but other than that, this is exactly as I have bought it. So let's have a look around. So what have I bought? Well, officially, it's a 1986 Yamaha T50 Townmate. And the T50s, as some of you might know, was fully equipped with 49cc of raw power. This one, having chatted to the previous owner, is possibly the 80cc engine, and I don't know that for sure, so I'm going to have a look at that in a bit. Other than that, we've got a slightly rusty Townmate. Starting at the front then, we've got some Pirelli tyres. They are matching front and back, so that's fabulous. The downside is they are 17 years old, so I can't use them. We've got a red frame and blue plastics. Who knows which way around that's meant to be, but that's what we've got. We've got the original Yamaha Townmate badge, which is good because I think they're quite hard to find. And we've got a really dusty speedo. We've got a rip in the seat. We've got a really rusty exhaust. And lots of cobwebs. But the good news is, it is complete. It does look like everything's there, which is also good because I think the parts can be quite hard to find on these. They're not as common as the Cubs. There's not the same sort of scene as the Cubs have. So anything that's missing would be quite hard to replace. So I'm really quite happy that everything seems to be there. As of yet, the only thing I can find that's missing is the rear foot pegs, and I'm not too worried about that. Looking in a bit more detail then, both the front and rear wheel are free to move, so they're not jammed on. The speedo cable is disconnected at the bottom end. I'm not really sure why that is. I'll have to investigate that in a little while. The engine is looking a little bit pitted, but you know, that's to be expected for a bike this age. The shocks, again, actually they don't look too bad. I've not taken them off and tested them yet, but they are there. They don't seem to be too rusty or anything like that. The brake lever seems to be there. The throttle's free to move. The choke cable is free to move. There is one single wing mirror, which would probably have been a bit of a luxury extra back in the day. The swing arm seems to move up and down quite nicely. There is a slight oil drip from the bottom of the engine. Again, I've not investigated that yet. There's no battery. There doesn't appear to be a battery, and you can tell that because there's a large hole where the battery would be. I also cannot see any electrical connectors in there that look battery-esque. So if anybody has more knowledge of a Townmate than I do, please let me know what should be there. The shaft drive seems to all be there, and again, as with the rear wheel moving, it does seem to all be free to do what it should be doing. Front suspension I have not tested yet. Centre stand's all there, the foot brake all seems to work quite nicely. And the important bit, the frame. Well, the frame seems to be in really good condition. I've had a bit of a look around it. I can't actually find any rust on it to speak of, and I think with this kind of bike that's more or less the only thing that you would have to worry about, the frame and parts availability. So I've got all the parts more or less, and I've got a frame without any rust on it. Obviously we will be taking this apart and we'll have a proper look, and hopefully we won't find any rust, but I think for now it looks good, so we should be good to go. So the question is, why do I need a Yamaha Townmate? And the answer is, I don't. I'm just an idiot. I think if you're watching this, you probably don't really need an explanation. These things just make me happy. I like to work on bikes. Obviously, Kieran is big into his bikes as well, and it's an opportunity for us to learn new things. He actually really hates scooters, and I've not told him that I've bought this yet. He's going to be coming around a little bit later on, so we might get some reaction footage when he does actually turn up. And what we're going to do with it? Well, again, it's kind of a spur of the minute purchase. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it, other than fix it up a little bit like we did with the Honda CG125 project, and then just ride it for a bit and see what comes from that. There's no time frame for this restoration. There's not a budget like there was with the CG125. It's just going to be something that happens in the background, and on a nice rainy afternoon when there's not much else to do, I'll come and do a little bit of work on the Townmate. So it might take a little bit longer than the CG125 did, but I'll film everything that we do and I'll make sure it's uploaded, and if you're interested in that or Townmates in general, then follow along. Hello there, old bean.
Good day, sir.
How are you?
Oh, just glorious after a nice early 6 o'clock start at work, but...
At 6 AM?
Yeah.
You're looking very tall today.
It's all just perspective.
Anyway, I've got something to show you.
Oh dear.
Come on round.
Oh dear Lord.
Here he comes.
He has got himself an every coloured Townmate of sorts.
Yeah.
Wheels off a BMX.
You'd already guessed it. So Kieran, on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah.
how much do you hate this scooter?
So which end is the...
1 being you really, well, not really like it. Let's just say 1 is, yeah, you can tolerate it.
Okay.
2 is, well, it's starting to make me feel a little uncomfortable. And you go on through 3s and you're forced to, I'm starting to feel a little bit physically ill.
Nauseous.
Through to your 8s, 9s, and then eventually, like, I would rather die in a horrific way than be seen within 100 yards of this scooter.
Okay. I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily on that spectrum.
Where are you?
Maybe on a 0.
On a 0?
Yeah.
What does that mean then?
Neither concerned nor unconcerned.
I think that's the greatest insult you could have possibly paid this scooter. You are indifferent. You frankly do not care at all about this scooter.
I don't mind being associated with someone who owns it.
Even if that someone is me.
Yeah.
Alright, well that is, as a reaction goes, exactly what I expected.
Yeah. I think this is a good thing for you.
Okay, and would you be willing to help me fix it?
Absolutely.
Alright, well, you can't say fairer than that.
Oh, there's a spider.
To quote Jeremy Clarkson, on that terrible disappointment, it's time to end part 1. In part 2, we will no doubt start stripping this thing down, so if you want to see how we get on with that, remember to subscribe, and you'll know all about it. In the meantime, goodbye, we'll see you on the next one.